The mysterious figure of Melchizedek appears just 10 times in the Bible. 8 of those mentions alone are in the letter to the Hebrews. Melchizedek himself appears just once in the book of Hebrews, and then the psalmist mentions him once, which naturally raises the question, what does the writer of the letter to the Hebrews see in Melchizedek to mention him so prominently? Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Friday, January 19th, 2024. Several years ago, on one of my trips to Israel, one of the members of our tour group asked our Israeli tour guide about Melchizedek. His reaction spoke volumes, or rather, his non-reaction. At first, he had to struggle just to recall who Melchizedek was. When he finally remembered, he was pretty blunt and dismissive. For Jews, he said, Melchizedek is an obscure character in a minor story about Abraham who plays no significant role in Jewish thought. I think the person in our tour group was shocked by this answer. Given the weight that the writer of Hebrews places on Melchizedek, he assumed he would be a major figure in Jewish thought. So, if Melchizedek is at best a minor figure in Jewish thought, why does the writer of Hebrews lift him up to such a prominent position? There are literally hundreds of other minor figures in the Old Testament, and many of them play more prominent roles in the story of Israel. So why Melchizedek? Well, let's listen to what the writer has to say. I don't promise that this will clear up any questions, but it will give us a place to begin. He writes, "This King Melchizedek of Salem, priest of the Most High God, met Abraham as he was returning from defeating the kings and blessed him. And to him Abraham apportioned 1/10 of everything." His name, in the first place, means King of Righteousness. Next, he is also King of Salem, that is, King of Peace. Without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever. If it seems like this passage only raises more questions than answers, you're not alone. It is pretty obscure. Let me see if I can shed some light on it. First, the writer uses it to indicate that Abraham himself believed Melchizedek was important enough to give him 10% of everything, simply because Melchizedek appears out of nowhere and offers him bread and wine after Abraham scores a military victory. I'll circle back to this in a moment. Second, the writer picks up on an apparently ancient Jewish tradition about Melchizedek. The ancient rabbis used to say, whatever is not in the Torah does not exist. Melchizedek is noteworthy because, unlike virtually every other figure in the Old Testament, there is no mention of his father or his parents or his genealogy. Other figures in the Old Testament are often introduced as so-and-so, son of so-and-so, like this. The Lord spoke to Moses, "See, I have called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur." But Melchizedek is introduced without any reference to a family. He's not Melchizedek, son of so-and-so, just Melchizedek. The ancient rabbis concluded that he must have been an eternal figure, without beginning or without end. This, then, is the key to understanding why the writer of Hebrews latches on to Melchizedek. He foreshadows Jesus Christ, who is himself eternal, who existed before the world began, and who reigns in heaven forever. And like Melchizedek, he functions as a priest. Which brings us back to Abraham's relationship to Melchizedek. Abraham honors him in the traditional way, with tithes, indicating that Melchizedek was an exalted one. And if Abraham honored the priest Melchizedek, so we must honor Jesus Christ, the great high priest of our souls. I know it sounds like a bit of a stretch, but the writer's whole purpose here is to encourage his flock to maintain their faith in Jesus Christ. And if no less important a figure as Abraham treated the priest Melchizedek with honor, so his flock should honor Jesus Christ, placing their trust in him as a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. So it's not Melchizedek who is really important here, but the one he foreshadows, Jesus Christ. Tomorrow, the writer paints a contrast between ordinary priests and the high priest we have in Jesus Christ. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.